Good afternoon, family, friends. With respect to keeping this concise, I know you have 3 Baptist preachers and Miss Jenny there that are all going to share, and I'm sure they have a tendency to be long-winded. I'm going to read you this letter. Dear Miss Linda, in Paul's second letter to Timothy, chapter 1, Paul tells young Timothy that he is constantly thankful for him. Paul cannot help but think of Timothy without thinking of Timothy's faith. However, Paul acknowledges Timothy's faith did not come without a faithful grandmother Lois and mother Eunice to show him just what faith actually looked like. Timothy's faith was modeled by his grandmother before it was embraced within him. 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 5 reads as thus, I am reminded of your sincere faith, a faith that dwelt first in your grandmother Lois and in your mother Eunice, and now I am sure dwells in you. 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 5. It almost seems as if grandmother Lois and her faith was the most influential part of Timothy's whole family. Nonetheless, grandmother Lois's faith surely was the original influencer and source of faith in Timothy and his family's lives. The faith of grandmother Lois went on to both directly impact the faith of her daughter Eunice and grandson Timothy, and through Timothy she indirectly impacted the whole evangelization or bringing of good news of Jesus Christ to all of Europe in Acts chapter 16 and following. Miss Linda, thank you for being my grandmother Lois. You and Mr. Ronnie took me into your family when I was a delinquent teenager, and y'all saw something in me that I could not see. Never did I ever see your faith waver in God, but I always did see a woman that served to live and lived to serve. Sure, during your time here, you were still human, though sometimes it felt as if you were one of God's heaven-sent personal chefs, sent to bless humanity with narcoleptic comfort food straight from God's personal Southern cookbook. But you always had trust in the Father. The way that you lived out, having the heart of a servant and the passion to serve others, using the gifts that you already have, and was undeniably your love for God overflowing from you. Just as grandmother Lois began the lineage of genuine faith in Christ the Messiah that carried on long after her time, I'm confident that due to your life of genuine faith, your children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and so forth will forever be impacted by the life you lived, example you set, and the love you shared. Even now, as I regret not being present to personally deliver this message as you wanted me to, I'm honored to be mentoring and leading 44 United States Marines that look to me as a source of strength and love. Almost all of them are going through the same struggles I was when God used you and Mr. Ronnie in his plan to help break me of my human pride and show me what faith looks like. I know that if I can pass on the spiritual impact that you invested in me, you and the Father will both be pleased. Without grandmother Lois, Timothy would have been swept away by his father's pagan Greek traditions. Without you, Miss Linda, where I would be is a question I cannot answer. What I do know is that just like Timothy, I reflect the strength that comes from the Lord and the, quote, faith that first dwelt in my grandmother, Linda. In celebratory cheer, in keeping with Paul's letter to Timothy, you have fought the fight, you have finished the race, you have kept the faith. Thank you for your love and service to the kingdom of God. By the grace of the Father, today we celebrate.